Welcome back to the Empire Builders podcast. I'm Dave Young, and I'm here with Stephen Semple, who's been researching yet another empire for us to dissect and discuss. And today it's Parker Brothers, the game mogul. Were these guys on Game Row? Didn't we talk about it in another episode? The inventor of a
Oh,
game that was
yeah.
like he was over there in the part of town where all the games come from.
No,
I'm
this kind of
assuming that.
predates that. Yeah, this
Okay.
this sort of predates that. We're going way back.
I
Like
mean,
like
Parker
we're
Brothers, I know the name, and I'm trying to even think of a game that's Parker Brothers. Parker Brothers. Who are these guys?
we're going way back. The business was started by George Parker when he was 16 years old back in 1883.
See, I was thinking you were going to go back farther than that. Like
Really?
these guys invented the stick. And but 1883, that's okay.
Yeah,
1883 or 18, what did you say?
1883.
1883. Okay.
Yeah, so we're going back a little bit here.
Mhm.
Going back here a little bit. And one of the things that was happening around that time, because we're talking about the early stages of the Industrial Revolution, and
Sure.
one of the things that was being created was the 8-hour workday, which actually started to build leisure time for people.
Yeah, because before that, the workday was waking hours, wasn't it? It was just like,
Basically, pretty
yeah.
much. Yeah, pretty much. And so board games had started to come out, but most board games at that time were developed with an agenda. They were
Mm,
they were dealing with the moral decline of America,
okay.
is what a lot of them were. And they weren't really all that interesting or fun. And basically George Parker was the youngest of two older brothers, and his father was a successful merchant but had passed away, and he had to find a way to make money. And what he
Mm,
noticed was at this time capitalism was really changing. It was becoming actually acceptable. So for example, in 1840 there were 60 millionaires in the United States. By 1880 there were 1,000.
wow.
Wealth was exploding, and people were actually able to imagine being wealthy. It was not just the aristocracy. There were actually, regular people breaking through. And the first game he creates is a game called Banking.
Banking. I'm pretty sure he didn't invent banking, but
Nobody invented a
the
game
game
called
called, yeah.
called Banking. And it's rejected by several publishers, but he spends his life savings, prints 500 copies, takes a month off school to go and sell it. And
Okay.
he does sell all the sets for like a profit of $80, but it was a lot of work, but gives him kind of a taste of success.
Mhm.
And this is in the era of tycoons, and they were being admired. And Parker wanted to create an idea that taps into this.
So the
And
Vanderbilts and the all the
yeah, Carnegie's and
yeah.
all of that stuff, right? And he didn't like business, so he convinced his brother Charles to join, and they formed Parker Brothers. So basically, Charles is going to manage the business and George is going to create the games.
Okay.
So they start by creating a role playing game with adventures. So one of the first ones they do is a game called Crossing the Ocean, where you took on a role. And it
Okay.
was sort of one of the first role playing games, and it kind of captured the imagination. And traditionally, ideas were brought from Europe. Like, so somebody would go over to Europe and sort of see an idea and bring it back. Now, we got to pivot here a little bit because there is a large wealth gap going on. And Elizabeth Maggie, who's a writer, a comedian, actress, outspoken feminist, she creates a game called the Landlord's Game. And
Okay.
basically, the Landlord's Game taught against the evils of monopolies. And it was the first game that didn't have a start and a finish. Like, it
Okay.
goes around in the circle. And so she self publishes the game, modest success. But she needs a major distributor. And around this time, she meets George Parker. And George hates the idea because he feels people want to feel empowered, not depressed. So
Mhm.
the 1920s come and there's a boom in consumer spending, which of course then leads to a crash,
Sure. Yeah.
right? Now, enters another character, Charles Darrow, who's an unemployed heating repairman. He's doing odd jobs to make ends meet, and he's working on an idea of a board game, which is about buying and selling property. that he calls Monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
And the first version was in a circle.
But this one's a square.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But first version was in a circle. And he submits the game to another game company. And they say sort of no thanks. Next he goes to Milton Bradley's, who he submits it to.
Uh-huh.
And next he goes to the Parker Brothers, and they reject it. And he takes the risks of printing of his own copies, and he convinces Wanamaker to sell them. Next he goes to New York, and he gets some other buyers. Then he waits for both stores sell out, and it's a fantasy people want to live. And word of mouth spreads, and the Parker Brothers find out about it. And they're struggling. They need a hit. So they want to make a deal. And he sells the Parker Brothers for $7,000 plus a percentage of every game sold.
Okay.
Parker's adds game pieces and tightens up the rules. That was his skill. His skill was taking games and making them better.
Okay.
And it becomes a huge hit. 1.8 million of these are sold in 1936.
This is Monopoly.
This is Monopoly.
Okay.
Right? 1.8 million in 1936. That's all they could supply. They could have done more. His creation story makes it a great story. It's not really true about struggling and creating wealth. Now, here's the problem.
Stay tuned. We're going to wrap up this story and tell you how to apply this lesson to your business right after this.
Hey, Rick, I'm glad we got out again.
Yeah,
What's going on?
my digital advertising's got more expensive and it doesn't seem to be working as well.
I see.
Nice drive, by the way.
So,
I don't know how I'm going to keep growing. I feel like I'm going sideways, flattening out.
oh,
Yeah,
did you speak to Steven?
you mean this podcast host?
Yep.
Not yet.
Do you like going sideways?
No, I want to be growing.
Well,
Starter session.
yep,
5 iron?
sure. Oh, and you can book your free starter session on this podcast website.
Your turn, Dave.
Let's pick up our story where we left off, and trust me, you haven't missed a thing.
Now, here's the problem. It's a lot like Elizabeth Maggie's game, The Landlord's Game.
Sure.
And she sees it at a party, and Parker Brothers had forgot that they had seen her game.
Oops.
And not only that, when they created kind of Monopoly, they didn't patent it right away. And when they went to patent it, oops, hers was patented first.
Okay.
So what ends up happening, though, is she cuts a deal with them that they have to make both games.
Okay.
Right? Because again, remember, she was about trying to make the world a better place, so they had to publish both Monopoly and The Landlord's Game all at the same time.
Okay.
So Parker Brothers, really gets off light on that one.
Yeah, they do.
And they publish both. And of course, Monopoly is hugely successful, and The Landlord's Game doesn't do all that well.
And I remember, was it another episode where we talked a little bit about Monopoly once, and it was designed to be a game that illustrated the evils of being a landlord.
Well, yeah.
And it ended up being, oh, I won.
Its history comes from The Landlord's Game, which
Yeah.
was about the evils.
Yeah.
They recreated the idea of the game.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
What I found that was really interesting about this whole idea is, again, it's this tapping into what's going on in the world, right? So this whole idea of capitalism is catching on, and people are aspiring to be that, and tycoons are actually okay, and all this other stuff, and this escape that people want to go on, that a game should be an escape.
Right.
And I liked sort of that, because really, when you think about all of these things going on, the game tapped into a feeling at the time.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And it's that observation of people and their behaviors and things along that lines that I think really made it successful.
So Monopoly was the breakout.
Monopoly was the breakout one.
So what else did Parker Brothers do then?
Clue. Remember, they were the publisher of Clue in North America.
Uh-huh.
We've talked about it before.
Oh, sure.
Which was, of course, originally Cluedo. Sorry, Risk. They ended up doing a deal with Trivia Pursuit. So this is also where we've talked about them in the past. Those would be kind of the big games that Parker Brothers are known for. But of course, many of those would be well after the time that, that the original founder, George was long gone by the time those other games came along.
Gotcha. There's a weird, and it's not really a direct tie to the making of the game Monopoly, but So people that listen to the Empire Builders podcast probably realize that we are part of an organization called Wizard of Ads,
Yep.
right? And our founder, Roy Williams, started a little publishing company 20 years ago called Wizard Academy Press.
Right. Yeah.
They were mostly these little audio books with a almost a fat pamphlet sized booklet that came along with it. And one of the books that they published, a guy named Armand Aronson wrote one called How to Win at Monopoly.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I remember that. I don't even know if I have a copy of it, but I just remember that it was How to Win at Monopoly, and it's there's some strategies in there that
That's cool.
I doubt anybody could find one of those, but and there's
Or-
there's other books out there on how to win Monopoly, but
Really? Okay. I had no idea there was people who took winning Monopoly that seriously.
there are. Wizard Academy Press was kind of a fun little business while it was going, and recently all of the assets of Wizard Academy Press and the I guess if there is such a company was given to Wizard Academy.
Nice.
So we have a big storage containers, the big metal storage containers that
Yeah.
it's full of books.
Well, we gotta start selling those books.
Maybe we do an episode in there next time you're in Austin.
There you go. In terms of and dig through and see if we find
Sit
some
there,
interesting
yeah.
book to promote and
There's-
sell.
There's a bunch of Roy's books and a bunch of others. I don't know if there's any of the Monopoly books in there.
We'll have to look. We'll have to
Yeah.
look, see if there's any of the Monopoly books.
It's not organized.
But coming back to Monopoly,
Uh-huh.
it is this whole thing of it's amazing when the world goes through a change. And this is one of the things I really want to talk about is when the world goes through a change like the beginning of the Industrial Revolution and unexpected things happen like the creating of an 8-hour workday where all of a sudden there's the invention of leisure time. And the invention of leisure time opens up all of these other opportunities. And we've talked about this before, with things like AI, any sort of technology that comes along that changes how society works. It builds opportunities that we cannot imagine. Like if you were in the 1700s or even the early 1800s and you said, boy, there's going to be this leisure time and people are going to want to play games, you would never imagine it. It develops complete industries. And so what ends up happening is when these changes occur, I think it really behooves us to step back and take a look at it and go, well, what are the new opportunities that are presenting itself today that were not in existence before?
No, that's a great point.
And that's what George Parker tapped into, not only in terms of leisure time where people want games, but also this suddenly society was looking at these things differently and wanted to imagine these things. And how do you tap into that?
Yeah. Well, interesting. And the Parker Brothers, they're still around. They're still. Has it been sold? Has it been? Is it still a family enterprise?
Oh no, I believe they're now part of Hasbro Games. Yeah.
Yeah, they sold out to Big Game.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, that's a whole different thing. Big Game. That's a. Well, thank you for bringing that story, Stephen. I'll wander us into the woods if you let me.
All right. But maybe we'll just end it there. We don't need a game, Dave wandering in the woods.
No. I'll be back after I ground myself. Thanks for listening to the Empire Builders podcast.
All right. Thanks, David.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Please share us, subscribe on your favorite podcast app, and leave us a big, fat, juicy 5-star rating and review at Apple Podcasts. And if you'd like to schedule your own 90-minute empire building session, you can do it at empirebuildingprogram.com.